I know that a lot of providers, therapists, psychologists, any other mental health providers, or even medical providers often joke about the job and like all the hardships that come with it. And that's true, right? Like the job isn't always easy. But to put some positivity out there, I love my job. I love being a pediatric psychologist. I love the populations I see. I love my colleagues. I love the environment I work in. And I think, when people talk about the downsides, it's kind of the same downsides you'd have in any big system, right? So I love working in an academic medical center. That's something that I feel very passionate about. I want to be around people who are also very interested in the newest research and the most evidence-based approaches, and people who all want to come together to provide interdisciplinary care. That's something that I am very passionate about. And it's a system, right? It's a huge hospital system, which there are pros and cons. I am still in this job. Clearly the pros outweigh the cons for me. But you would have the exact same system for private practice, or rather a different system, but the exact same problems, right? Every large system has very similar challenges. And I think you just need to weigh whether the pros outweigh the cons for you. So for example, for a PhD, yes, it's very time intensive. I think academia is changing a little bit with regard to how demeaning it is, right? And how they might put people down, and what's acceptable versus not acceptable. When I was in grad school, unfortunately, a lot of things were still very much acceptable to say to trainees. But really, people are somewhat moving away from that, and I would imagine it'll get better and better as the years goes on. But to be a psychologist, I mean, it depends what your entire purpose is, right? Like, I knew I wanted to work independently. I didn't want somebody else signing off my notes, and I wanted to do that regardless of what state I'm in. And I know some master's level clinicians can sign off on their own notes, and some need a licensed psychologist to kind of sign off on everything. I also wanted to work in a medical setting, and it's pretty challenging to get a job with just a master's in this field. I also, while I don't necessarily want to do research or like submit my own grants, I want to be part of research projects, and I want to be part of the newest research that's available. And so being in an academic medical center and having a PhD allows you to understand research. It allows you to determine what's a good study, what's not. It also just allows you to evaluate data in a more consistent way. So overall, there's lots of pros to becoming a psychologist and to working in this field. But the cons list can also be long. It depends on your supervisor and your advisor in graduate school. It's very competitive to get in. Once you get in, you do clinical work, academics, and research, and probably teach, depending if you get buyout. So there's lots of pros and cons for each. I'm happy to talk more about this if this is helpful.